Hola clase, otra vez. Here are your notes over indirect objects and indirect object pronouns. And I guess I should be clear, first of all, you already have these notes, or should already have these notes, because we took them in Spanish 2A last year. And whether you have them or not, they are definitely important. So please watch this quick video to review them. So, indirect objects refer to the person who receives the direct object or the person who benefits from the action of the verb. That's sort of an English definition, by English I mean English class definition of what an indirect object is. I can make it much simpler for you to find if your sentence has an indirect object. Ask yourself, to, for, or sometimes from whom is something being done? To or for whom? Sometimes from. So, what else should you know about indirect objects and indirect object pronouns? Well, usually pronouns replace nouns. That is the general rule. However, indirect objects and indirect object pronouns are an exception to this rule, and this is so important, and this is what trips up students most often. So you have to remember that indirect object pronouns match the indirect object and either replace it or goes with it in a sentence. Let me show you what I mean by that. Here in this sentence about Sarah liking steak with onions, really what we're saying is steak with onions is pleasing to Sarah. Now, I have a Sarah and I have lay together in the same sentence. I've got my indirect object pronoun. I was trying to box it. That didn't go so well with the mouse. And I've got the clarification or emphasis to it. If I can get rid of either one of these, it's the clarification or emphasis, but if something is being done to or for someone, you absolutely must have an IOP. So your choices for indirect object pronouns are me, te, lay, nos, os, les. To clarify or emphasize the IOP, you put on in front of the indirect object, like in sentences that use gustar. Let's look at another example. Alright, so here's the information we just went over. Here's the sentence using vocab from Spanish 2A. A banker lends or is lending money to him, her, or it, or even you formal. So a banker is lending money to him. If I want to, I can add clarification to this, and I can add a Juan, but I still have the lay in there. With other pronouns, you put one pronoun in and take another one out. But with indirect object pronouns, you have to have the IOP if something's being done to or for someone, and you can add clarification or emphasis if you want to. If I could get rid of anything, it's the a Juan and still have a complete sentence. So don't forget, if something is being done to or for someone, you must have an IOP, and if you want to, you can have clarification or emphasis. And to find an indirect object, you ask yourself to, for, from whom, and also don't forget that regular pronoun placement rules apply. Alright, thanks for watching.